Hi, DigiDino here from Jinx the Games, and this tutorial is about how you can make an inventory system. There are maybe different ways, but this is a way you can do this. And this is gonna be a rough recording. What I mean by rough recording is that it's gonna be an uncut version, and so there might be some long pieces in between and some um, coughing and stuff. And later on, I'm gonna make a clean version. But this version is like a preview for my Patreon supporters. First of all, thank you also to support me. And well, let's get started. So I have my inventory system here, and let's play this. Okay, so I have here my inventory. Then I have here some items, and when I click on an item, I'm gonna add this to my inventory. And sorry, my bread is stackable, so as you can see, they're gonna be stacked. And this is also a stackable item. And when my stack is full, it's limited to 20. I'm gonna start a new stack. And I can also drag and drop this around. Empty spaces I cannot swap or move around. So okay, and when I add still some new bread, it's just gonna fill up, and it's gonna look, if it's full, it's gonna look for the first empty space and start there again. Okay, now what I still have, if everything is full, it's gonna say no space in inventory. But I still have place in my bread, so I can still add stuff in my bread. And if that's full, also no space in inventory. And the same for my paper, but I made the I made the limit to 100, so that's not a not. I should change this maybe later on. Okay, now so I can swap items, and also when I drag them outside, I can drop them out of my inventory. Uh, Now when I click on an item, oh, I get some tooltip information. And as you can see, I have tooltips on all my items, and everything changes nicely for what I need. And I can just close this, and when I click this again, then it opens. My inventory I cannot close yet, but yeah, that's something easy to do, but not important now for this tutorial. Okay, now first I can show you how I set up this panel. So let me see, this is my canvas, and I have a screen space overlay. Let me see, canvas scaler, I have scale with screen size, and then match width or height, set to height. Uh, then the graphic raycaster, okay, and then I have inventory panel here, so that's just my panel background. Okay, then I have my title, and I have this close button which isn't working yet. Okay, then I have my tooltip panel, and I use scale to scale this up and down, and I will just show you here. So if I click something, I'm gonna send an event to the show tooltip, sorry. And I have here a bool test to check if it's visible. But yeah, anyway, it's gonna be always invisible. for now, but you could make here some animations and stuff, so you would not want this every time to do the animation if you just click on another object. And that's why I set this up, but it's not complete yet. And for hiding the tooltip, I have here hide tooltip. So if it's visible, it's just gonna say to true and just idle. Okay. What do we have still here in the tooltip, which I can show you? So I set this up that with this vertical layout group. So if some tooltips are disabled, as you can see, this dynamically adjusts the tooltip window. And let me see here. So this is just the complete panel. This is the main background. And the reason I have this because to set this close button, but I don't want this to be within my vertical layout group. That's why I just made here an empty image. Well, I can just put this out because I set this to 0, so I can't see anything anyway. So let me see. And then I have my vertical layout group for this, and with some paddings for left, right, top, and bottom. So if I change this, as you can see, it will move to the left more. If this is 0, you see, so that's for the padding. Then you have spacing between your items, and then you have your child alignment that you can set up, and then you have the canvas group, and this is for to disable everything to be interactable and the raycast. So even your raycast target would be on, you cannot raycast anything. And that is important for me because when I drag something here, I don't want anything to be registered. And I will show you afterwards for that. So I have then a text object here for my title. Then I have here just an image object, and I just disabled the image. And the reason I use this and then make a child here for my armor and head. The reason for that, it's more easy to set up custom things, just like here the coins and the durability on the same line. And because if I would just have this in here, you see you get things that we don't want. Let's get this back. And I can't get it back anymore now, I guess. Well, and never mind. I'll fix that later. Okay, so I have my damage power, intel, and inside of them I have the text for this. I could also just have the text here inside, but then it's more hard to set up the sizes. So that's why I made it like this. So I have an image just for everything. And my description, I have text also. And I made this big enough so I have like 4 lines. This is not dynamically. I tried also dynamically with this, but you get some like jumping from the sizes, and it it just looked ugly, so I made it now like this. And anyway, you can make this in your own way, of course. You don't have to follow this. Let me see, durability. So inside durability, I have my coin image, and then I just have a rotate. So it's rotating here just to have some animation. Okay. And so I have my durability text here on the right side and my gold amount on the left side. And that's about it for the tooltip. And then I have my close button here separate. And that's it. Then I have my inventory here. The inventory also I use a grid layout, and you can see the settings that I set here. So start corner upper left, and let's say I would take something out, it will just take them out in between and then rearrange these. I could also just place them manually, but I was following first some other tutorial and I thought I just left it now like this. With most other tutorials, actually, they are doing this within code, so making a prefab and then dropping them in. And I didn't really like their system, so I made my own system actually. And also, so each slot is has this background. Then it has an item image for my item. So let's say I have my item here. Then I have the amount here, so I can have some amount if it's stackable. Let me take this item image out again. Oh yeah, that's a stupid thing actually in the canvas, but just make an empty sprite just somewhere where you have an empty spot. You just make this this sprite and then you can use that one. And I have my border. So now on my item, so this is going to be a ray casting target, as you can see, and the other things like the slot is not a ray cast and the border also is not a ray cast. And here I have some Playmaker UI events, pointer events. So I have my drag event here, and here is my manager. So here I'm going to do stuff once I have here an on click event, or if I have an on down event, so when I push down my mouse button, or if I hold on a mobile device, if I just hold my finger on it, and if I release, then it's on pointer up. If I click, so that's like a short tap on the mobile, then it's another event, and when I start dragging, I do this event. So I have this all on every slot, and let me see, slot panel. So I have this grid layout, and this is just the item background image. Item, inside the item I have the amount, and I have this border. Oh yeah, this one. So I have also on each item this Playmaker UI Canvas Raycast filter event. And this is later on as when I release my button or when I release my finger, I want to register what is underneath it. But because I'm dragging, the first thing it's gonna see is the item that I'm dragging, and I don't want that item to be registered, but only the target. So if I get something here and drop here, I want to know what is in here. And that's why I have this. I will show you afterwards. And I have that also on each item. And standard, they are enabled. I could also maybe use this raycast target, but this was kind of easier. So, okay, no space, that is just to show the text that there is no space in your inventory. And okay, that's for the event system. Then these are my items, and on each item I have an ID. And so when I click on an item, I'm gonna get this item on the database, I think, and then I'm gonna get its ID. I'm gonna get this item, and then I'm gonna get this FSM int. So for each one, as you can see, each has a different ID, and in this way I can use this in the array to find what item that I clicked on. And okay, then let's first go to um, let me see the database. So my database is currently only some arrays which have information. So let me see first the item name. So here I have my names. Let me drop this down first. So the first slot is an empty, and on all the other arrays on the first is also a 0 or nothing in the string. And this I use if I drop out some item. I'm just gonna drop in this empty. Then the first one is leather, then I have this great ring, then the helm of fate, and some bread, and the sword of Eden. So, and each element is on each array is the same. So element 0 is the empty one, element 1 is going to be this paper, element 2 is the ring, and so on. So, and then I have all kinds of stats for this. So item level, categories, intellect, and you can put in a lot of more for whatever you need. Okay. Then when I click on an item, so I have my mouse manager also here. So when I click, so get mouse button down, then I have actually I have need only the mouse pick 2D. So I'm getting this object, and if I found an object, then it's true. And if it's no object, then it's just next frame and gonna wait for the next time that I press. And if it's true, I'm gonna send an event to the inventory manager to add an item. Then let me see first. So I first, because I have some array get next to, that's actually a custom action, because the original action does not have a reset flag, and I'm gonna need to reset because it might loop only halfway, and then if I loop the next time again, if I do this again, then it might just continue here, and I want to start from the beginning. Okay, so, and I have two of them loops. Let me see, yeah, here and here. So that's why I have two reset bools. Okay, then I'm getting the FSM game object. So I'm getting this from the mouse manager. So I get the object picked here. Um, you can also, let me go back to the manager. You can of course also make globals for it, but the thing is, first of all, if I make a copy for this, I mean, if I make an asset for this, the globals are not included, so then I have errors if or I need especially if somebody downloaded it, they need to import them and stuff. So that's why I stick now on only local and no globals. And another advantage is that locals are harder to hack than globals. So that's also a good thing. Okay. But if you want to use globals, it's fine by me. Okay, now so I'm getting this collected item, and so I'm getting this game object, and then on that object I have this int variable. So as you can see, I have here my ID, and anyway, this items will gonna have some more stuff here later on for animations or stuff. So anyway, you need an FSM on it, so that's fine. And then just I have this ID, which I'm gonna get on the inventory manager, and so I'm getting my ID, and then I'm setting this ID on my database, and then I'm gonna send an event to my database, and I'm gonna get my item from the database. So the moment I have sent already the variable here, and where is my item ID, so this is going to be set to that current item, and then it's going to look if this database got the ID from this item that I got. And so let's say I got this paper, so it's going to say yes, ID1 is there. You can of course name this also if you don't want to use this kind of IDs. You can also use strings or anything. But for me, I just use now ID numbers, and I think so that just does it just depends on what you want, how you want to set this up. So it doesn't has to be ID numbers or anything. So when I got my ID, so it's gonna be on what's that, on element 1, so index 1, and so then I'm gonna get this current ID. Actually, that should be current index. So that's the current ID from that well, the current index from that ID. And then I'm just gonna get all the stats from every array on that current ID. So even it's 0, I'm just doing the whole list in one time. Of course, you can also do it differently. Let's say if you want to know the items, you can go first for that category, and then you can just get the parts that you need. But uh, it's just so fast, it doesn't really matter, I think. So I'm just getting everything in one time. And so let's say I have bread, so the armor is going to be 0, and all the things that I don't need is going to be 0 or empty, but it doesn't matter. Um, then the next part is, after I got my data, I'm gonna go back to my FSM, and I'm gonna send an event ready. This means that everything was loaded in here in my database, Then I'm gonna use this get next to check my my slot panel here. So I'm gonna check all my slots, and let me see. So I have an ID list here, and the ID list is simply where is my ID list? This is actually not really a base stat. This is other info. So I have my ID list here. No, this is not the one that I need, I think. Yeah, actually it is. Yeah, I was thinking that I need to find objects, sorry. So actually I need to check my ID list. And if it has an item, so it's gonna check this list, and if you have stuff inside, you're gonna have your IDs from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 0 is empty. So you have here 3 and here a 4, and the 4 is bread, and here is another 4 with a bread, and then it's gonna check if there is an item here, and it's gonna check from here going down to here. And I put the start index and index to 0, so it's gonna check just everything what is inside this list. And then I have an int compare to check my ID, and if it equals, so I'm getting here each time I'm getting here the, let me see, ID to check. Yeah, so I'm starting here with the first one and get this ID and also get this current index, and then I'm gonna check this ID to check with the ID that I got from the item, and if it's equal, it's gonna check here, and it's gonna get from the array here, it's gonna check if that item is stackable, and this is gonna be inside the inventory list. So this is again, all these arrays is what is inside my inventory and not what is inside my database. So that's why I have this array for my, if it's stackable, and it's just gonna check if the item is stackable, it would be true, and if it's not stackable, it would be false. So if the item is not stackable, it's just gonna skip this everything, and it's gonna just check further for an empty slot or an empty spot. But if it's stackable, it's gonna check if that stack that he found here, the first stack that he found from that item, it's gonna get the stack limit, and also it's gonna get how many there are stacked. And then it's going to compare if the currently stacked is equal to the item stack limit or if it's less than. So if it's less than the stack limit, then it's not full, and then I can just add an int to this stack, and then just say that there is another item added, and I'm going to set this array stacked +1, and then send event to update inventory. This I will show you later. This is just to rearrange everything again. So if it's not stackable, then, or if the stack is full, so if the stack is full, it's going to look for the next one. And if it's done everything and it couldn't find anything, then it's going to check for this empty spot. So it's going to get again this ID, and it's going to compare this to 0. So the first 0 always the ID will be 0 if it's empty. So the first 0 it finds, it's gonna stop, and then it's gonna say if it's equal, so equal to 0, then it's empty. And if it's less or greater than, it's not empty. Then the next thing, I split this up. So for different kind of item types. So the basic info is info that I need for every item. So what I have here is get FSM string, and I'm getting this from the database. So I'm getting this item category, and that's what I did here. So I'm getting this item data, and now in the other one I'm getting the data from here, and move this into my let me see, here we are, and then later on I'm gonna set this. So I'm getting this FSM string, and what I did also, what you can see here, usually I don't like to edit these the names from the actions. So what I did now is just put it in brackets and have this category and description and everything. It's just yeah, more readable for this. So, and in this way I can still see what action I use here, and I can also see what I'm doing inside it. So it's more cleaned up than open everything and look for where is the level, where is the image. So okay, after I got these values, so item stackable, item name, item level, and then the image, and the equipment slot. And equipment slot is like the head, or one-handed sword, or bag items. That are the slots. And then I still have the item description and item category. Then after I got everything, I'm gonna place this inside the empty object there. So I got here, I found this empty object, and that's gonna be on the current index. So if it's like on index 6 or something, then its current index gonna be 6, and that is an empty one. And it's not really empty, but it's stated as empty. And so I use this current index to set my items here. So I have my array categories, and I have this value, and so array value, and I'm gonna set my value from here, and then stackable, name, level, image, ID, so, and equipment slot and description. And as you can see, the ID I think is I'm not getting here because I have it already from here, so I don't need to get that again. Then after I got this, so then I'm gonna check my item category. So if my category is consumable, armor, weapon, or other, and then with this string switch I can go to the one I need. So if it's, for example, consumable, I only need like health regen and stack limit, and the other stats doesn't matter to me. So for this item, so I don't need to get them again. And after I got these, so also with the FSM int from my database, after I got these, I'm setting these, and as you can see, it's a stacked item. And the first time I place this, it's the stacked is going to be 1 because it's the first item. So I don't have here a variable, I just have this value of 1. And the stack limit I also set here on this array, and my health region value. Then after that, I'm gonna send event to the update. And well, with these I just do the same. So I'm getting the armor, durability, until stamina. And here I'm gonna set the armor and also current durability. And the current durability is gonna be max, so it's gonna be the same as the durability. So for these I used both the same value. Uh, then intellect and stamina. Then the same for a weapon, but I have also this damage power with it. And also I set this damage power somewhere here. Well, you get the thing here. So for my paper here, I only need to know my stack limit. And so I get my stacked to 1 and stack limit here with my item stack limit variable. Okay, and then send to update inventory. So that's a way that I'm adding items. And I'm gonna show you now what the update inventory does. So I had here first a multi-bool, but I don't need it. I need only one. I will still change that later on. These are actually also custom actions, and they are just easier, so you don't have a whole list. So I have my reset that I'm setting to true. Then I have a whole bunch of values here. So for my ID, all these variables I want to set back to 0 just to reset them to be sure. And also my string values, I made them empty. Then I use this array get next to again. Also again, I want this reset flag, so just to be sure. And as you can see, I set reset to true. So this is going to be reset, and it's going to set this reset back to false. So that's just a get next to loop, and I use my item slot. And then I have my current index. So the slot is a result and the index. Okay. And when everything done, it's just gonna idle here. So first what it's gonna do is get some information, and I'm gonna get this, let me see, item amount, image, and if item is stackable, then if it's stackable, let me see, so I'm getting the stacked, how many is stacked, and actually I could do this on a later base if they are stacked, so I can see how many are stacked. But anyway, that's fine now. So then I have my pull test if items are stackable. If they are stackable, then it's gonna go here. If they are not, it's just gonna set this text to empty. Well, it's not empty, it's a space because uh, it's required for some reason. I hope they will update this on a later version, because I think that should not be a requirement to have something inside. But anyway, then it's gonna uh, set this image sprite later on. I'm gonna show this first. So if you have stacked, then it's gonna get this current index, and so let me see, it's gonna check how many they are stacked. So it's gonna get the index here from currently stacked and then convert this to a string, and then I'm gonna set the text here for my stacks, so how many stacks I have. Then I'm gonna set my image. So actually what I'm getting here is I'm getting my stacks and I'm getting my images, and that is just to display on my inventory. Okay, uh, so I had add item now, and then I get my swap item. I'll show first my pointer manager now. So I showed you already on my mouse, so if I get things inside here, so that's fine. So if I have stuff inside, I have my own pointer down. And what this does, so when I click and hold on, or when I press, I can just play this, maybe move this up a little bit. And then when I press on an item, let me put some items in first. So as you see, when I'm pressing on and holding on an item, it's gonna get on pointer down. Even I'm clicking, this on pointer down will still register. So the moment I'm clicking, even when I'm clicking it down, it's gonna register. So that's gonna go always. And what are we doing here is we're getting this position from the moment when we point this down, and also we getting this item which I clicked on. Then after I clicked on this, also I'm getting the local position from this item. So I think actually this delta, maybe I don't even need it, but let me see later on. So I'm getting this position from this item. So if I click here, I'm gonna get the position from this item, and the items are these here inside. So I'm getting the local position. Then I'm getting the parent from this item, and I will show you later on when I drag stuff why I need this, because the more, well, just after I'm dragging, so I'm getting the parent, and then on drag I'm gonna move this item. I'm gonna parent it to this drag slot here, and then after I released it, I'm gonna put this back into the slot. And so that's why I need to know in which slot it was, and that's why I'm getting the parent here. Then next, it's gonna check if it contains this item. So if I would click on the text here from inventory, and this would be on or something, or it can see it's not this item, so then it can find it, and it's not gonna do anything. Okay, so I think even I can move this away already because I disabled the other stuff. I have to check that later. So it might be that I don't need this. So that was on pointer down. Then on drag, so when I'm holding something, I have here first, I'm gonna disable my raycast on this item that I'm dragging. And that is for later on, if I'm releasing, I want to know what is the one beneath it, and else I'm gonna raycast on the item that I have holding, and I don't want that. So that's why I have this raycasting filter, and that's this one is going to be disabled then, and so I cannot recast that item. Get back here. Then I'm going to set this parent, so this item that I'm dragging, I'm going to set as parent to my slot panel, and then I'm going to get my position information, and I'm using translate advanced here, and vector 2 in space world, and that's just so that it moves together with my mouse. And I will show you quickly why I set this as a parent. So I'm going to disable the parent for now, and make this a little bit bigger, add some items. Then I'm gonna move this item, and as you can see, what the problem is that the ring is going behind all the slots, and this kind of behavior we don't want. That doesn't look nice. And so if I have set transform parent on, so it's gonna set this to this drag. Let's play this again. And now it stays nicely on top of everything, just the way we want it. And as you can see, when you look here, the drag is visible, and then here, the child, the object of the item was as a child, and when released, it goes back here, and that I will show you also here. So um, on the release, so on dragging, that was done. Then on pointer up, so what I'm doing then is get this pointer enter information, so when I release, it's gonna check what is there on that position, and I'm gonna set this in a variable as new item. Okay, and then after I already got this item, then I can turn on again the raycast filter on the item that I was dragging, because I already did that raycast to check what item I have below here. Then I have this array contains to check if I released on one of the slots and not somewhere here or in between of the slots. So it's gonna check if it has this item. So and then it's gonna set has item to true. Then I'm gonna set transform parent, and that is just gonna set the item that I was dragging back to its original position. And oh no, set transform parent is gonna set this back to this slot, and then this rect transform set local position is gonna set it back to the original position. Then I do this bool test if it has this item, or if it doesn't has an item. I will show you first. If it doesn't have an item, then it wants to know, so if the item would be the inventory panel, so if I release it somewhere inside this panel, it's gonna register this inventory panel item or object, and then if that's true, it's gonna just idle. But if I dropped it somewhere outside the inventory, then it's going to be false, and it's just going to get empty data to the database manager. Let me see, to the database, and then it's going to check the ID from that item. Well, let me see. Now it's going to have Let me get back here. So I'm already getting this ID somewhere. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm getting this released object here. So also on the pointer down, I think, yeah, you see also I have this index on selected object. It's actually important later on for swapping. So I have this in a selected up, and then I have this in, let me see, where is it? As a released object, as a variable. So after I remove, I'm going to the database and I'm gonna get this selected item ID and I'm gonna check if it's no, I'm not gonna check, I'm just gonna make this empty data. So I'm gonna get everything here from index 0 and then I'm gonna go to the inventory manager and drop item. So I'm actually here, I'm just gonna check, get everything from 0. Let me look that again. Database. So actually, get empty data is gonna be 0, but I think this might need to be changed later on. I might be having problems with this because I think when I remove something from here, I'm not sure. I'll check that later. Let me see. So inventory manager, and here we have drop item. So I'm getting all the data what I got from this from the database. Then here actually I'm getting this selected object in, and then here I need to set all the values to that object selected object index. And then I was still planning something here, but that's for later. And then I do again this update inventory. So this might be just useless actually here, because it's also just have none. So I think this might go away. I think we don't need this actually. So sorry for that. Okay, so what we did now is, so we dropped an item, we've added an item, then we're gonna swap an item. So after I did this, so on pointer done, I get my first item here, dragging item, then I'm dragging it to another position, and then I get this new item, so that's the one gonna be below it, and then it's gonna check this if it has an item or is an empty slot, and then it's gonna do this swap event. Just send in event to my inventory manager to swap. Okay, so here I'm getting again this FSM int from my pointer manager, and that's the selected object, and I'm getting the int from the released object. Then on the selected object, it's gonna look on this index number. Then it's going to store the ID value. And if the ID is 0, then it means it's an empty slot, and it's just going to send an empty slot event here and just going to idle and do nothing, because the empty slots we cannot move around. But if it's greater than 0, then it must be a slot, so then we can swap. So here we got this selected object and the release object. So what we have here is all the stats that we need, and we use this array swap items. This is also a custom action, I think. And I'm just doing this array from armor, and then I have index 1 is going to be the selected object, index 2 is going to be the released object, and I'm just doing this for all this all the info that I need, and they are just all the same, but just for each array. So also the durability current and stuff, so you have to do this for everything, so it's gonna all change position from their index. Okay, then I use actually I'm not using anymore this in next frame, but you can use this to be sure, but normally after some testing it was fine, so everything got swapped without problems. But to be sure, you can always use this. And load inventory is nothing yet. This is going to be later on if you save and load, so that you can do here. And then actually this has to be separated maybe, and this has to go directly here. And then update everything again, so all the images and stuff are correct. Okay, so what we had here is pointer down on drag, on pointer up. Then in the next one is on pointer click. So when I click on an object, sorry, so on the pointer press, I have this object that's gonna be registered. And after that, I'm gonna do this compare. And if it's only the inventory panel which I clicked on, then I have to do nothing and just idle. And if it's not equal event to the inventory panel, so if I clicked on an item, then it's going to continue down here as I set action sequence. So it starts here and waits until this action is finished and then goes to the next one. If it's not a sequence, they can work on the same time. Even this one is not finished yet, so you could have bad behavior. So this is to be sure. And then it has this bool test. If it has an item, if it's true, it has an item. If it's false, just idle and do nothing. So if it's true, then I'm gonna go to the inventory manager and get my tooltip info. Then the first thing I do is this selected object, and I'm getting the ID. And if the ID is 0, if it's an empty slot, then just idle. If it's not empty, get the information. So first of all, I'm getting the basic information again, just like I did here on this basic info. Then I'm gonna convert them to strings. So let's say, look for this one. So my item level, that's the required item level. Let me show you here. So required level is like 60, and where am I? So I have here just a simple text requires level, and then the item level string in this build string, and then sorry, then I'm storing this again in the same string. So I get my string here from item level, Then I use build string with this requires level and then this item level string, and I'm just storing the result again in the same string. And that's no problem, you can just do that, that works fine. So you don't have a whole bunch more strings that you have in your list that already big enough is. So I do this for the value, and so here with the value with the coins, just this C here, and then some other information which I got here like description and equipment slot. Then category, they're already in strings, so I don't need to convert them. And then I'm just setting this description text to this UGUI text items. And let me get back here. So I'm just setting the basic stats. Then I'm gonna do this string sheet switch to check my category. Then I'm gonna get more info for the consumable, and also what I'm doing here is activating or disactivating objects. So for example, this armor, well, for consumable I have no armor, so I don't need this, so I'm gonna deactivate this, then deactivate this one, and this one. Then health regen I'm gonna activate, and then I use stamina, the stamina, but I'm not showing stamina actually. I think, let me see what I showed there. Oh yeah, I'm just showing here the stack limit, but I'm just using the stamina, this stamina line, as I could also add another line, but then I had another one to activate or deactivate, so I just did it that way. You can do it however you want. So after I activated these two and deactivated the other ones, and then I'm converting again to string for some ints that I need, and build string to build this health regen text, also the stack limit text, and then I'm gonna set this to this UGUI, to the health regen and to that stamina one. And after that is done, I also send an event here to show the tooltip. So this what I was showing in the beginning, and that is just to make this visible, and then I have the hide to hide it. Okay. And yeah, with the other ones, so I'm getting this other information, and I'm just activating the ones I need and deactivating the lines I don't need. And that's for each one the same. So like for armor, I'm getting this durability also, and then I have my build string durability, current durability, and then slash, and then the total durability. And then I save this in durability, and then afterwards I'm gonna set this to text, and again send an event to my tooltip panel here so it can be seen. Now, so far, I think we had drop, we had swap, we had add, and we had tooltip. So we got about everything now. And we went to the pointer manager, inventory manager, and mouse manager. And also the database. Now about the database, for now I just have simple here arrays to that make this. and I'm planning maybe to use JSON or XML also later on. But I'm still gonna use these arrays, I think. I'm not sure, but there is a possible I'm gonna use this. Or I might use this item ID just to get things from the JSON in that way. That would be possible. But or maybe I'm gonna make like a few other extra tutorials to use this with JSON and with XML. Maybe that is the best way. You tell me what would be the best way. So, um, so one way we could be you get your data from this XML file or JSON, and then at the start of the game place everything into arrays and then use this, or maybe later on directly from the JSON. We'll see. So that's it so far. I hoped you understand a bit what I was explaining everything, and let me know if you liked it or disliked it, and especially let me know also what you liked and what you didn't like. And again, this is a rough recording, so take care of that when you when you want to ask or say some stuff. Don't say this is a bad tutorial, I can't understand anything. I'm sorry for that if that would be the case. Uh, and again, for all the Patreon supporters, thanks for supporting me. And I hope to get some information and some reviews from you about this. Well, that's about it, I think. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.